the lawyer anaitwa nani, that guy. And so guys, I think we need to change this narrative. And so I had queued Ayo, but Ayo, kindly, I want you to hold on kiasi. I want to give X holding. Ayo, just hold on kiasi. X holding. Welcome.
Yes, you can hear me.
Yeah, sure, bro.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. And I want to take this opportunity first and foremost to thank MORARA for the things he's done. I think this is the second time I'm talking to him on the spaces. And thank you, keep doing the good work. You started lightly, and the momentum you're gaining, keep doing what you're doing and do it rightfully. I've had topics, sorry, I was not at the beginning, so I might have missed some, but for those which I've had, there's this is my honest or my personal opinion, and I say that I will support MORARA in means that I can or that I have, and I will defend him because for the good work. I don't care. People do other things that may not. You are not going to please everybody. It's not a purpose of pleasing people. It's a purpose of doing what is right. It's a purpose of telling people the truth. And I had tweeted earlier in the day that whatever MORARA is doing is the only thing that can bring us together again, having a common goal of failed projects or failed government. Because if you remember, the very first Mandamano that was successful with Reject Bill, we had a common bill. We had a common goal, which is the Reject Bill. Those that followed individual hashtag or MOH, Occupy, were not successful because we are not united by one goal. People, you could see there's a mistake somewhere, but somebody is okay with it. But whatever MORARA is doing is not affecting Nairobi or rather Kisii, his home county. He's going yesterday he was in Isiolo and picking on the project on every county. So is able, if we get support, we'll be able to unite to support MORARA under one goal. And then on financing or whatever, I don't think there's any place MORARA was demanding for support. It's come from heart, just like we did the medical bills and everything. You see somebody, of course, good work needs to be rewarded. It takes fuel, and it took him long before he came asking for support and everything. But then you have to understand, among us, kuna people that don't like good things. Kuna people that don't see progress, or the other people just want, ni wale tu wanataka to kibaki the same place. Because tell me, like the other week when he was trying to fix public transportation, somebody have a problem with it. You pick like, what is it? What is it that you like and can appreciate and support? So this is ndogo tusikue na isikuchoshe ama isikudistract from the goal. What I'd suggest that when you need funding, just say, I need support ABC. Don't respond to that. Let other people, small people like us, deal with those small other group of people, faction of people. You focus on the goal and keep doing. You've been doing it with your own money, and so far you are still, even put the money aside. There's sacrifice in individual. Look, nipatie kazi 2 days nimechoka. I'll need rest for 2 weeks, then nifanye 2 days. You get. So do the good work and let's concentrate on the important things that will bring us together. Sorry to bring this one, not related really to MORARA. Like what is happening the very minute I'm speaking here, we have like 3 parallel groups. Like what's going on? You get those 2 small things. It's more of a, I understand everybody are gonna right to do whatever they want, but it's like kuna ni kama ka tension, ka friction flani ama ka struggle flani to be on the front, which is just fine. But let us identify gani kati ya hizo mingi zina ukweli ama zina mwelekeo yenye watu wengi wanaweza fuata. You get? Not to take anything away from any other person, but let me add to MORARA, tuangalie kila. This guy has gone to my own county. The other time alikuwa Ukwala Road, I was in Ambira. I believe you passed by Ambira. You get? That road has been like that for ages. To my home county, Siaya. And honestly, when I sit here, I'm not proud to come from Siaya, because if you compare that county with other counties, Kochini. Yesterday, I came other county, Ivo. So tell me any reason why to support Ujama. And tell me any reason why we should fight this Jama. So let's do the right thing. Let's try and have a common goal and let's focus. Hizi zingine ndogo, sijui mara part gani, sijui wacha. No. Anyway, we are tuko wengi. If somebody feels that is not addressed, chukua hiyo safari, tupatane mbele. I think not in in two months ago, Morara was not as popular as he is today. But because of the good work, inakuweka kwa hiyo screen, because of what you do, because it does something, hata kama hiyo project Isiolo ilikuwa anadanganya, somebody else can go back there and verify, huyu jamaa hii project amesema ni ukweli ama ni uongo. So we have to support what is right and let us stop fighting. I'll speak again.
Thank you very much, X Holding. So I see we are almost at the top of the hour, and there are a number of speakers waiting to speak. So be patient with us. We'll try as much as possible to engage each and every one of you. But I see your 6,000 and among others who are commoners on these spaces. If you allow me, we have Tekla online. We also have Nothing, who has been waiting. We'll give them the first priority, and then we'll come back to all of you to make the contribution. So, Morara, your mic is on. You want to say something?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, sir.
So for those who are joining us now, I'd provided some direction on how the conversation should be shaped, and I'd like to give that direction again, so that when you come on the space, we end up having a useful conversation. So this is the backdrop, huh? This is the background. Hapa Kenya, the young people and professionals wale ambao wanaweza kusaidia nchi yetu, most of them believe politics is a dirty game, and they believe that politics is not meant for them. So essentially what has happened is that we've surrendered our politics to idiots and to criminals who are drug dealers, who are money launderers, who are sex traffickers, thieves, tenderpreneurs, beneficiaries of corruption. Those are the kind of characters that we have in our elective institutions, in our appointive institutions, and most sadly, even in the state house. So now, we would like to change the leadership of our country, because we have a very, very beautiful constitution, but now we have very, very poor quality of people to head institutions. Remember, you can have a very good law about IPOA, Independent Police Oversight Authority. But remember that this word independent, apart from the independence that is given in the law, this person himself heading the institution or part of that institution has also to decide to be independent. Look at what the fools at TSC did, the Teacher Service Commission. Teacher Service Commission is supposed to be an independent commission under the Constitution. It doesn't even take instructions from the Ministry of Education. But the fools over there have been giving members of parliament letters of appointment of teachers. So you find a member of parliament in a funeral with 10 letters belonging to teachers. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the problem is not the law, because the law creating Teacher Service Commission is very solid and very nice. The problem is the kind of characters and fools that we've put in those institutions. Therefore, what incentive do we have to attract people of integrity, young, middle-aged, and old, to come into leadership? Secondly, how do they stand a chance against the billionaires who have looted our public funds and who have benefited from the theft of our natural resources? So let me give you a hypothetical example. You have Morara Kebaso running against William Ruto. How exactly do you expect Morara to stand a chance? Yes, of course, you want him to come on board and change Kenya. But how exactly do you expect this person to even stand a chance in that election? And then I spoke about keeping these people accountable, surrounding them with love and with advice, and then campaigning for them, doing the little things that matter a lot. I've also talked about campaign financing, which is unregulated in Kenya, and where we need to think about how exactly should these people be able to run for those offices. The other thing is we need to talk about civic education, changing the mind of the voter so that the voter is no longer commercialized or attracted to money, but rather attracted to ideas. How do we convert the mind of the voter? Then lastly, and very lastly, we have to talk about voter registration. How do we get more people to have IDs? How do we get them to register as voters? And second, how do we ensure that their vote counts? What is this thing that we can do on election day to prevent voter suppression and intimidation and rigging? So, and many more things that I've forgotten. But otherwise, the whole topic should revolve around draining the swamp and replacing criminals with leaders of integrity, the strategy.
All right. Thank you very much, Morara, for that. I think we are equally guided on the contribution because we are seeking to really have a fruitful chat out of this. And for that, I think we can now proceed with the next set of speakers. Thank you for joining the Call Sauti ya Mwananchi. We are looking at the grand takeover of politics to drain and expel theft. How do we do that? And what can we do to encourage more young people into this bracket of political leadership? Tekla, the mic is yours. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening. I hope you all can hear me. Thank you, Morara, Kioti, Mizani, and everyone around here. So, for me, the first thing is the politicians have enablers around. And by enablers, I mean we have people who provide oversight, and that is things like EACC, IPOA. They are the enablers, main enablers of these politicians. Because if a politician is suspected or is sentenced for corruption, we have the ODPP and the EACC going back to the courts to withdraw the cases from the courts. So I feel like as much as we are targeting the politicians, we also need to target this organizations that are meant to provide oversight, but have been infiltrated by these same politicians who we are trying to fight. So I don't even understand why we have religious leaders in organizations such as EACC. What do they do there? We have religious leaders in the whole category of people who are supposed to choose the IBC commissioners. Why are they there? I mean, we have a very clear constitution, but the person who is supposed to protect the constitution is the greatest abuser of it, and we need to fight against that. And then also with regards to what we are fighting, and that is bad governance, we need to make our fight personal. Like I, as Tekla, I need to make this fight personal and go for what is choking me so much in this government, be it healthcare, be it bad roads, be it education. If we can achieve it, if every one of us takes our civic duty to fight for what we see is bad. And then, as Morara had said about funds funds are everything. It's really important for us to have, for him to have enough funds to do all that he does. And also with funds comes accountability. And we have a lot of professionals in Kenya. We have lawyers, we have medics, we have engineers. And I saw Morara was setting up an office. And I feel like we Kenyans who are inclined to this movement can provide pro bono services before everything is set up and running 100%. We can provide whoever is probably an engineer and is supposed to guide. Okay, like is supposed to set standards on how Kenya is supposed to be working, can provide pro bono services in the office. So if that is provided, then it brings down the costs, and also it gives that person a voice in the movement, and you kind of own the movement if you provide those services. So I feel like offering pro bono services is going to be a good step for the movement, and also working with existing bodies. As it was mentioned, we have the movements or the organizations in the MTAs. We can work with the existing bodies to get into the ground, because most of these justice centers, those are places where most of us access civic education materials. That is where we meet most of the leaders in the community. So we can find a way to work with the existing bodies to penetrate more, because I mean it's only easy if someone is able to access somewhere that they feel is it's familiar. And then we need to empower Kenyans to take up the civic duty, because many of us feel like, as they said, politics is a dirty game. So I don't see the reason why I should wake up at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock to go and vote. And then that is with regards to grassroots civic education, working with the leaders in the community, because Morara cannot be in Kisumu and Nairobi and Mombasa and all over the country in a single day. We need to work actively with the people on the ground who have the same, the same like mindset with the movement, and that is going to help. And that we're not targeting a specific age group, because whatever is happening in Kenya right now is affecting everyone from 0 to 100. We need to change that narrative of this is only affecting the young, or we are only targeting the young. We need to work with everyone who is able to get an ID. And as Professor had made this movement personal by going to fight for IDs, that is one huge problem. And I keep on saying, make this movement personal. Take up what is affecting you most, and with that, I believe we can work towards it. And all of us are out here to see Morara win. It's a very good initiative, and thank you so much for starting it. Yeah, that's it. And then we need to fight against misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation because of there's accessibility issues to, like the constitution. People don't understand the constitution as well as it should be. So one thing about accessibility, we need to do the civic education and just fight against misinformation. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tekla. Under a minute, Tekla, if you may. Yes.
Mizani. She has said something very profound that I just want to add something on. She said that we have a lot of misinformation and disinformation because people have not read the Constitution. And I've been at the forefront of trying to fight for the Constitution to be translated to local languages so that even wamama wazee huko nyumbani waisome vile wanasomanga Biblia hiyo yenye imetranslatiwa kwa language yao. On that leg, I'd like to say something here. Since we are 3,000 people here, and 3,000 people means that if everybody talks to 10 people, we'll have talked to 30,000 people by the end of the day. Tafadhalini, kuna hiyo kitu mnasema ati sijui to be a president in Kenya you have to be 35 years and above. Please go and forget that thing completely. That thing was in the previous constitution. It's no longer in the new constitution. Tell at least 10 people that that thing is not there, because it's discouraging many young people who can want even to be president. Not even myself. There are many people who have presidential ambitions, but they think that they must be 35. Please help them understand that that is not true. What is true is that you have to be above 18 years old. You have to be an undischarged bankrupt. You should not have been bankrupted by that time. You should not be convicted of a criminal offense exceeding 6 months. You should possess higher education, that's university degree, and many other. You can go and read the qualifications for election as a president. They are on the IEBC website, and they are also in the Constitution. So please make sure you demystify that.
Thank you very much, Morara. And actually, that is interesting because people have been talking about everything and anything without really anchoring on specifics. But I believe as we move the conversation forward, we'll be able to identify the gaps and address them effectively. I wanted to engage Tekla for under a minute and ask her, Tekla, why is this change very important to you at an individual capacity? Under a minute.
So this change for me is important because I am in the health sector. So I have seen what lack of the government's investment in healthcare has done to many of us Kenyans. I want to see a healthcare where I would go to hospital today, get a diagnosis, get treatment, and be better to work, for the country. We've seen cases of patients who go to hospital, are diagnosed with cancer. You're in line for 3 or 4 months to get chemo. By the time you get back, you're told it's already metastasized to everything. And for me, healthcare is among one of the most important social services that the government should provide. That includes education, and I believe that if you empower a society to have good healthcare, good education, and housing, then the only thing that, okay, the citizenship in general is going to work hard to pay the taxes and to make the country well. But I feel like this is the lack of investment in healthcare and education by this government is strategic to, make us, okay, to I can't find the right words to use, not to sound rude, but to make us, hang by their balls, literally. Because if you don't have enough health, if you don't have good health, you cannot work. You depend on like handouts. If you don't have enough education, we cannot have such spaces and talk and fight against the government. So I want to fight against these people who disempower us so bad that we can go back every single day to beg on their feet and cry so that we can have the basic of necessities. I want a Kenya that is working perfectly, efficiently, and for me, healthcare is it. And these people have damaged our healthcare so bad that I can be sick today, I'm working, and then once I'm done paying my hospital bills, I'm broke, done. So for me, my personal initiative for this movement is healthcare. I'm going down with healthcare. So that's why it's really important for me to, to fight against bad governance. Yeah.
Thank you. And Tekla there has set the pace for what should be personal to you. I'd like to hear from Nothing. After Nothing, I'll switch back to KOT. And at half past the hour, we'll be looking at your comments and see what you're saying. Nothing, the mic is yours. Go ahead.
First, I would like to thank God. I salute our fallen comrades, the injured, the wounded, missing, and each one of you. Allow me to thank MORARA and KOT, Mizani, and every one of you, because we have all contributed in one way or another. I'm immensely grateful, and I honor the call for you have taken up for the nation. It has a lot of complexity, and these complexes involve social, political, economic, and human aspects. On the economic aspect, there's so many people who are willing to support. Unfortunately, sometimes we come across that information and we need to find how to relay that to you. If you can talk to someone like, what's her name, Hanifa, so that we are able to channel, if there's that, there are people who are willing to support you, we are able to communicate that information to you, because there are people from the diaspora who are also willing to chip in, but they were asking how to get through to you. There's Dr. Nimrod, who's ready and willing, and so many other people. On the social aspect, the issues that affect each one of us today, the nation that we want, the Kenya that we have envisioned, and we know it is achievable. Everybody is willing, they're doing their best, and they're standing out there in every way. We are praying for you. We support you in every way. And there are also other ways we can support you, like you're receiving a lot of information that you cannot process within a short time. So there are different ways we can support you. We just need a structure on how to get that to you. So we know if it's that kind of support, who to reach out to. Human capital, there are people who have come from the diaspora and are willing actually to stand by you. There's a team in Kipsang in Wasingishu is willing to work with you. He said he's going to be here to see that he's first of all talking to the elderly that are still standing on our person, and they're also willing to support you. So we also need someone who, if there's a team willing to support you, like you were in Isiolo and Meru, and I think there's a gentleman called John Seremani. There were ladies who are willing to stand with you and to mobilize in Meru. But we need to find a way, because at times we avoid to overwhelm you. On the political side, I know it's getting dirty, but ignore. I always say dogs bark at people they don't know. So let them bring out anything they want to. Where necessary, we will talk back. If not, we will ignore, because we need to all focus on where we need to go. On the political arena, they use tribalism. There's a lady called Toria who's willing to be hosting spaces for different regions for people to look themselves in the mirror and say, as Mount Kenya, our stereotypical estrangement to other community has been led through this door, and we need to deconstruct it so that we can look at ourselves on a national level. So kindly support those spaces, whether you come from those areas or not. So they be vernacular. We are appealing for vernacular spaces where people can say we are sorry, and it has started happening. Uasin Gishu had an excellent space where they're thanking young people and they're saying, you woke us up from our sleep. And they owned up to where the narrative has been, what the lie has been, and why it is no longer tenable. So we are encouraging every community. We can see how to synchronize so that even if it's a CIM meeting, people from all walks of life can come in. When it comes to your logistics, Kenyans are willing to support you. So do not sell your business. Also, try your best to have an inner circle that can stand with you. And when I say an inner circle, I mean people who can see, like, because you can be in an area and you cannot see an angle someone else can pick up. On things like your mic, I'm of the opinion, do not share, and we are willing to buy the sponges for the mic, so that we just try and closing the tight snoozes on the different areas people need to stand in. John runs a space where we want to visit the family of the missing, the family who lost loved one, and the injured, and we will be raising finances and arrange on how to visit them. The legal side, we are appealing for people to offer themselves. If say there is a protest, to just strategically position yourself around police station, so that if people are taken in, we can raise the alarm before someone is missing or maybe dead. For petitions that are in court, we need people to avail themselves and say we want to be conjoined to those petitions, and they run with it. I'm not sure whether there's something I've forgotten. I want to yield the mic because I can see people already complaining that the elitism needs to be dismantled on your spaces, because everybody wants their voice heard. So yes, we will find. Oh, we also need a strategy for the areas you will go to, so that we can mobilize beforehand. Because we know there are people, there are mobilizers on the ground, but you may turn up in an area and those people are not aware you are coming. So that we try our best. If you can work with market days, that will be a plus. We are deeply grateful for each one of you. I yield the mic. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, nothing KE. And of course, we need to have a strategy, especially when touring different regions. And personally, I've always done that on my side. Me, I don't meet a huge crowd of people. I've always met watu wachache. And my journey to Mombasa with Akina Wakili the other day, we went through SGR, and of course we offer civic education on board. We reached Mombasa and came back. And so before I give Ayo and Esco, I can see their hands are up, then Wakili, alafu 6,000 in that order. I just want us guys to remember the topic of the day, yeah. And of course mmekuwa mkiona nani Morara akisema mpesa yake imejaa, and I think we should also provide other means where we can raise some funds, yeah, and then we see what we can do with them, especially on matters.
Can I say something?
So yeah, Morara, kindly. Then
Okay, so this is what I'm thinking, guys. Huh? I'm thinking that on issues of resource mobilization, when we began this space, I said the fame and the popularity that I have now is not mine. it is for you. Nyinyi ndio mmenipatia hiyo fame na popularity. If you are the ones who've given it to me, you didn't give it to me ndio nijisifu nayo. Mulinipea so that I become a convener. A convener is a symbol of unity. Yani ni kuange na waleta pamoja, mnaongea, mna discuss nini kitu kama hiyo. Now, look here guys. As the convener, this is what I'm thinking. We need to make this thing perpetual. We need to make it also a permanent mark in Kenya. So me, I've been thinking that the first thing we need is an office. We need an office because in that office, we'll have a boardroom, we'll have a small boardroom for small meetings and a big boardroom for big meetings. We will have our researchers sit in that office. Sasa kama sahi niko na researcher mmoja mwenye nilihire, and that researcher doesn't have an office. Tuna move tu naye kwa gari. But ange settle, I think she will be able to do more. That office can also have our security office where they do their security planning from. It can also be the parking space where we park this vehicle yenye mlinunua ya civic education. It can also have a nice garden where we can do photographs with people who visit the center. Yani ikwe tu ni place ya watu, yani si yangu, it's not a private office. Ikwe yenu. Whenever you don't want to talk on X, you come to that office. Then we do really good security around that place. We do a good perimeter wall, we do ile neti ya green, we do a very serious gate, we do very serious security checks, we have a debugging machine ya kucheck bugs, so that we make it a safe space where we go and meet and talk. Yani hata wakati tunataka tu tupatane tu tuongee, it becomes a very nice. Hata tunaweza jiundia ka restaurant kidogo hapo ndani mahali tunakunya tu chai yetu, where we are sure we cannot be poisoned. That office will be very important because kama unipati kwa simu, utanipata kwa ofisi. Na hata usiponipata kwa ofisi, unaweza wacha barua useme this and this is what I wanted to give you. Remember, tuko na whistleblowers who are working in government, who are tired and disgusted with the kind of corruption they see in government. Wanaweza ileta hapo kwa ofisi. So when stories come up to say, oh, there's another con game and so on and so forth, mi niliwaambia kuna kitu moja nimelearn: consistency. I'm not going to turn around and keep throwing stones to every person who backs at me. Mimi kama nimedecide tutakuwa na hiyo ofisi, it doesn't matter kama Wakenya watachanga ama kama wenye watu kwa hii Twitter space watachanga tukuwe na ofisi, ni sawa. Kama hawatachanga, me I'm ready to sell even it's a plot of land yenye niko nako mahali, nishike kaploti kamoja niwekele, tupate ofisi, a home ground, mahali tunaita home, mahali tuna occupy, where everybody can come and be safe, where if you're being chased by police ukuja unaingia kwa gate. We need to have that, so that once we have an office, Udem ametoka kuongea saa hii, amesema kuna watu wa volunteers. Unapata mtu ni lawyer, unapata mtu ni engineer, unapata mtu ni computer scientist ako na skills za IT, unapata mtu ni wa marketing ama ni communication specialist, anataka kuoffer hiyo service. Huyu mtu ataoffer hiyo service wapi? Of course atakuja kuoffer hiyo service nikiwa Kieni kwa rally ama nikiwa Isiolo kwa rally. Atataka a structured way ya kufanya vitu. Ofisi itatusaidia kwanza tukuwe na documentation, tukuwe na structured way ya kufanya vitu. Kuna mabarua natakanga kuandika but hatuna ofisi bana. For example, we need to write a letter to the Engineers Board of Kenya tuambie au maengineer wote wamejenga hizo barabara za ufala wakuwe deregistered from the role of engineers, watoke kabisa na wakwende. Hizo barua inataka ofisi mahali mtu anakaa anaandika, na pia kuna address ya kurespondiwa. Kama wataka kurespond barua wana respond. Sasa hivi tunataka kuandika barua kwa treasury watuambie ile bank account yenye walifungua ya Kenya, walifungua kwa banki kwa America inaitwa JP Morgan Chase, wakaiba $2 billion. Hiyo account tunataka kuijua. Kuandika hiyo barua inahitaji ofisi. So ni very important tukuwe na place tunaita home. Alright? And then pia hapo ofisi, mtu yote mwenye anataka kurun for any political position in 2027, anaweza kama hapo kwa ofisi, tujuanie hapo, tuanze kubuild networks hapo, tukienda home ground yake. Wakati naongea na Mike Jumi watu wananitambua, nikishatokea tu juu ya roof nikishika Mike wanajileta wenyewe. Ni vizuri umse mwenye ako hapo home ground, mwenye tumegrow, mwenye ni kijana tunataka kuinua, ni kwa tayari nishamjua, tumeinteract, naweza mpea Mike pia yeye apige shughuli yake, educate. Meanwhile akiendelea kufanya hiyo civic education, watu wanaendelea kumtambua na wanaendelea kurecognize talent yake. So itakuwa muhimu sana tuanze kufikiria hiyo kitu ya kuwa na ofisi. Lastly, kuna udem amesema about accountability that ni vizuri hata kama na receive do za Wakenya ni kuwa accountable. Kitu ya kwanza nataka mjue, hiyo do nimekuwa nikireceive is a personal donation, na nilisema from day one, kama unanitumia do utume kama sadaka kwa bishop utume bila maswali. The reason nilisema hivyo ni kuna expenditure zenye siwezi reveal, na si ati niko ubaya ama ni kwa sababu nataka kucheza Wakenya ama nini. Kuna vitu zenye nikiwaambia nitakuwa naambia pia maadui. For example, nikianza kuwalistia nilifuel hapa, nililipa huyu security, nililipa hii. Essentially, hiyo expenditure yangu itaanza kutell the government a story. And the story will be indo movement ya umse, hivi ndivyo anafanyanga, na watakuwa very alert kuniprepare an attack, and none of you will be able to prevent that attack. Kwa hivyo pia kuna expenditure yenye siwezi reveal. So ukinitumia on my personal number, ujue kwanza hiyo umenitumia yani donation tu yako, wewe usijali, ujue I'm honest, nitapiga kazi. For example, mlinitumia do nilibuy gari, mmeiona. Mlinitumia do ni buy system, nilibuy, mmeiona. Mlinitumia do ya fuel, nimezunguka Kenya, mmecheki, mmeona nyi wenyewe. Aya, hivyo sitawaibisha, si ati nitawaweka kwa disappointment. Lakini pia on top of that, tukisha kuwa na ofisi, we can have a common kitty. Tunaweza kuwa na bank account na tukue hadi na pay bill. Sasa hiyo funding yenye natuma huko kwa bank account na kwa pay bill si yangu ya mafuta na si yangu ya security, hiyo ni ya general services. Hiyo sasa itakuwa inakuwa audited, inatumwa hadi audited reports, hivi na hivi ndio tulispend, kwa sababu expenditures za hiyo account zitakuwa vitu general, chai, mafuta, nini vitu general, stationery, tulinunua makaratasi ya printing paper kuandika hizi mabarua nini, tulilipia hii, tulilipia gazeti hivyo, tulilipia internet hivi, tulilipia stima, tulilipia maji. So tunaweza kuwa na account mbili. Kuna wale wananitumia kwa M-Pesa yangu, hiyo ni ya kunisupport mimi for my personal activity, but sasa tukue na an organization, a kind of a structure yenye kuna ofisi na iko na pay bill yake yenye tunatumanga, na hiyo ni common kit yenye inatusaidia wote. Na mjue, by the way, nikimaliza rally zangu za country mzima, tunahitaji tukue na kitu inaitwa Youth Convention Nairobi, ama Kenya ni Home Convention Nairobi, yenye inaleta people of all generations tukuje Nairobi place kama Kasarani to discuss mambo na wanasiasa wasikue invited. For us to achieve that, lazima tutahitaji resources na tutahitaji funding. So kama tutakuwa tumekuwa na hiyo kiti inaweza saidia sana kufanya hiyo shughuli. So that is what I can say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Morara. So mimi sina mambo mengi. Let me just give the mics to the following speakers, 3 minutes each, and of course it's 30 minutes past top of the hour, 9 p.m. East African time. My friend Ayo sema hivyo. So Ayo, welcome.
Every time you say that, I just crack up. Thank you so much. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to KOT and Mizani for co-hosting this vital space, to our dedicated host, Morara, for the exceptional job in holding the government accountable by exposing critical issues. Your efforts in ensuring transparency and providing a platform for meaningful discourse are deeply, deeply appreciated. And today, I want to address a crucial matter: the empowering role of our youth in shaping the political landscape of Kenya as we look towards 2027. This year presents a defining moment for the younger generation to rise, make their voices heard, and actively contribute to steering our nation towards a brighter future. It's our time to rise as the youth. And youth of Kenya, this is your moment to step into the spotlight, because our political landscape is in need of fresh perspectives and innovative solutions, to be honest. And the challenges we face are significant: high unemployment rates, a rising cost of living, inadequate access of quality education, persistent corruption, and notably, insufficient health, we don't have health, our hospitals are not well equipped, and the deepening tribal divisions that continue to fracture our society. So let's address these challenges. How are we addressing these challenges? The unemployment among the youth remains alarmingly high, and it hence has left many without opportunities for meaningful work. And the soaring cost of living is impacting the everyday lives of Kenyans, you and me, your brother, your sister, making it harder for families to even make both ends meet. Our educational system, pathetic, it's failing to equip young people with the skills needed to, for future success. And while corruption undermines public trust and diverts essential resources. So one of the most pressing issues we face is the persistent tribalism that divides us. Politicians have mastered this. Hence, they divide us into different tribal cocoons. Once they realize that we are overpowering them, they divide us into different tribal cocoons because they've exploited tribal identities for political gain, hence creating divisions and perpetuating a cycle of discord and mistrust. And to be honest, this has led to a fragmented society where unity and progress are undermined by, tribal loyalties. We can see it on the timeline. Sometimes it's just tribal issues. Let's talk about the grand takeover. As we look towards 2027, a grand takeover by the youth is not just necessary, it is essential. And thank you for the young people like MORARA standing up, and we are supporting you, we are behind you supporting you. Go take those political seats. You have the power to break away from the diverse tribal politics that, have long plagued our nation for quite a long time. And your involvement, rather, akina KOT, akina MORARA, your involvement in politics can usher into a new era where policies are based on merit and the common good rather than tribal affiliations. We have a huge problem ahead of us, registering as voters and taking over leadership. To effect real change, it is crucial for young people. We need to register as voters and take active roles in leadership. We need to ensure that we are registered and we are eligible voters. We need to engage into the electoral processes, advocate for policies that align with our values as young Kenyans, and support candidates who present a genuine commitment to addressing our nation's challenges. Let's talk about draining the swamp. We need to drain this swamp. To drain this swamp of ineffective and corrupt politicians, we must undertake several actions. Number one, we need to promote transparent leadership. How do we promote transparent leadership? We need to support candidates who demonstrate a clear commitment to transparency, integrity, and accountability. And we also need to demand regular audits and public disclosures of public finances to ensure the leaders are held accountable for their actions. Number two, we need to encourage civic participation. Civic education, this civic education that we keep on running around, civic education. We need to foster a culture of active citizenship where voters are informed and engaged. Because in the recent past, we always just go to the ballot. We vote along tribal lines. We vote along mtuwetu. We need to stop that nonsense. This includes participating in public forums, like these spaces, like the whatever mwananchi, inaitwaje whatever ya mwananchi. These that was being held and it's no longer being held. We need to participate in such things. And when we attend the community meetings and we hold these leaders accountable through petitions and advocacy, we hence support electoral reforms. Because at the end of the day, if we do not support electoral reforms, we just see what has been happening to our IBC and all that kind of stuff. Let's advocate for electoral reforms and enhance the fairness and transparency of the voting process. And this might also include the measures that prevent voter fraud, ensuring equitable representation. Let's go and tulinde kura yetu. We keep on saying that kura yako, unalinda kura yako, but we always go vote and go home. We need to start. If we identify a presidential candidate, we identify an MCA, a governor, or whatever, let's linda that kura. Because it will be stolen at the end of the day. We know these people. Let's strengthen the anti-corruption measures, guys. If we don't support initiatives and legislations aimed at combating corruption and promoting good governance, and encourage the establishment of independent bodies tasked with investigating and prosecuting the corrupt practices, we will end up crying the same way. And through fostering new leadership, we will. You see now, like, young people are being encouraged to take these political seats. We are mentoring and supporting the emerging leaders who are committed to making positive changes. Let's stop criticizing them. Instead of criticizing, let's support them. If the only thing you can do is to criticize, step aside. Let's support who we can support and provide platforms and opportunities for young people and aspiring politicians to showcase their capabilities and drive impactful reforms. How can we ensure accountability for new youth politicians? For me, as a youth in Kenya, as these new youth politicians emerge, it is crucial to establish frameworks that ensure that they are accountable by implementing clear standards and developing clear standards and guidelines for their ethical behavior and performance for their roles. We ensure that these standards are well publicized and understood by both the candidates and the public, so that we keep these leaders accountable in each and every step they make. And even let's encourage public scrutiny and provide training and support for these voters and even for these leaders. These young leaders, they need support. We had people like Akina Kivuta Kibwana advising us. We had people like, I've forgotten the name, who came and taught us about the Constitution and how they made sure that the Constitution was implemented and all that. When we provide civic education at grassroots level, through community workshops and school programs and local advocacy groups, we end up utilizing media platforms like social media and even our local media, like radios, the traditional media, Gazeti, Nini. We ensure that these people are well informed back in the villages. So as I finish, let's unite against propaganda, guys. There's a lot of propaganda happening on the timelines, more so on X and TikTok. This is the time for unity, not division. Like right now, MORARA just announced that he's going to host a space. We already have parallel spaces. And that tells you how much people are against whatever that is good. Watu wakiona vitu za kuharibu ndio wanatokea. Did these people announce that they're going to have spaces? No. The other day, MORARA said that they're going to host a space. We saw what that young man did. He went ahead and held a parallel space. We need to stop that nonsense. When we unite...
Drop off, Ayo.
I'm dropping off. When we unite, we resist this attempt to fracture our movements through the divisive propaganda. So, in conclusion, I urge all of you to rise and encourage and determination. The future of Kenya depends on our active involvement in leadership. Let's embrace the challenge with hope, and together let's build a nation that reflects the dreams and aspirations of all its people, free from the constraints of tribalism and empowered by innovative solutions to political financing. Let's stand against those who seek against dividing us and focus on creating a future ahead. Thank you for listening to me. My name is Ayo the Sixth. Have a great evening.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ayo, for using 10 minutes. And I said you used 3 minutes. Anyway, guys, the next speaker, please ensure you observe time, because I don't want to drop you off. We have a lot of requests here. We have over 100 requests. Na naona pia DM yangu mumejaa, and of course I can't give the speaker to all of you. Yeah, we can only allow 10 speakers on the panel at a time. So guys, just hold on. I know MORARA has enough data. We can do this even up to midnight. So just hold on. We'll give you a chance to speak to us. And so I can see Wakili. I saw Diamonds. Diamonds, kindly, can you use 3 minutes, please? I saw you here. You came here earlier.
Diamonds, can you hear KOT? You have your moment. I think Diamonds is already sleeping. Maybe we should proceed to the next speaker. Oh, Diamonds is here. Diamonds, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. Hi, I'm not yet sleeping. But I think, Morara, thank you for what you're doing. I think you're doing a great job. I hope you keep the course. It might not be easy. We have quite a long way to go. I think you've done probably about 7 counties so far, or maybe 8, maybe 10, I don't know. We have 47 counties for to go. We've not yet touched the Rift Valley, not gone to the coast, not gone to Nairobi. But what I would say is, please, even as you go to these counties, there is a big problem around the housing levy and a big problem around the housing project. So far, this country has collected almost 100 billion Kenya shillings from Kenyans. 100 billion is actually enough to build over 80,000 units free that Kenyans should be given for free. For 100 billion shillings, they've not completed a single project, not one that I know of. I think it would be something that we need to consider. In every county, I think they've been launching this since 2022, November, October there. So these ones, they will not have even a single excuse to speak about the regime that was there before. With 100 billion Kenya shillings, it's actually almost enough to cover 50% of what Adani is going to give for the JKI deal. It's something that I think we need to consider, and please go to those projects. Let's see them. We will support you, obviously. We go to the villages ourselves, and we will as well take the message down there. Also consider that for the journey to 2027, this needs a political party. It needs everybody together under one umbrella. Everybody needs to speak from the same language, and it has to start very, very early. A political party must be there because it's an umbrella that will keep everybody under one space. Another third thing is there are many things that will keep coming. There is the university funding model. There is the social health insurance. There is the Adani deal. There are many things that will keep coming. But I think the best way is to keep the course. Just keep the course. And when I say that is we need to keep the course by following projects that have never been completed, stalled projects, corruption. It's also time to actually name the engineers that are signing off these projects. Let's name the contractors that are taking up these projects. It's much better to tell people in those villages ni nani alichukua hiyo pesa, ni nani huyo amekula hiyo pesa, ni engineer mgani amesign off your project. It's much better going that deeper and that far. With that, I support you. Keep going. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Diamonds. And of course, you observed time. You used 4 minutes. And so let me give this chance to Wakili and then 6,000. I want to clear the speakers panel, then bring in other speakers.
Thank you very much. And I want to greet every one of you who is listening and following through this space. And I want to thank Morara for convening the space. I can say, and first echo the sentiments of Morara in regard to the issue of organization, that we have noticed for the longest time in this country, the people who have been controlling this politics are the rich people and the billionaires that we see in this country. And if you look at even political parties are owned and controlled by these billionaires. We, the young people, when we were mobilizing ourselves through the forums, the X-Space, the TikTok, and all the other forums we did when we were doing the protest across the country, we really did a lot of civic education to everyone, even our brothers and sisters in the villages, our mothers in the villages, and we were working it in a very homogeneous way of trying to talk to people and ensuring that everybody is on board and is understanding why we need to protest against the finance bill. But the political class we have came in later when they noticed that we don't have proper organization. That's why they started now dismantling us, and we are now backtracking to the gains we had made when it comes to the demands, the standard we are trying to set. And we have noticed that there's no way we can just demand change when we are outside the framework that determines how these changes are made. So I think it's important that we come together as a team in our smallest way, even at the ward level. We try to sell together and educate our people at the ward level, at the constituency level, so they can hold these MPs and MCAs. We hold governors accountable. We hold senators accountable. We check how this country is being run, and we work as a team in a coordinated manner. And that is the only way I think this thing can be a realistic goal when it comes to implementation of the changes we all desire to see. Some of us who are lawyers have been trying to offer a lot of pro bono services throughout these protests by going to the police cells, going to the courts, trying to do a lot of this. And I think now we have to scale it up and also go now to the villages and talk to people and tell them their rights and how they are being violated and all these things. But I will do this. I request that we also we try to work as a team, lobby your colleagues around your village, and push this agenda as a team. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Wakili. And guys, honestly,
Wait, 1 minute,
okay,
KOT.
Morara. Okay.
So Wakili has failed to mention that he has been traveling with me since we started the tours. He has failed to mention that tuko pamoja. It's just that he's in his room
Yeah,
sleeping,
took a ground,
and
took a ground.
I am where we are supposed to be eating dinner. So Wakili, you need to tell them that you've been on the ground and what you saw. I don't know why you are denying me,
Yeah, I
like
think
Peter
what
denied
let
Jesus.
me thank you for your guidance. I think what I can mention about that is we have been having a chance to talk to most of the locals on the ground, and I can tell you, people are yearning for this change. People are appreciating that Kenya ni home, and they are willing to protect it. We obviously, there are the politicians, the political class who are scared of the move. You could see even when we went to a church we fellowshiped at Endarasha during the memorial service there, uh, the pastors were injecting on our behalf. The moderator was injecting and demanding for accountability, and they mentioned and held accountable the head of the budget, parliamentary budget, Njiru. He was being questioned about why he flew in using a helicopter and is not aware about how the road from Endarasha all the way to Kiawara has not been completed, and money contract was awarded more than in 2018. So clearly showing that we young people in these villages and in these towns, if we continue pushing our parents, we are going to be able to debunk what this political class have been doing, and we push them because I know they're going to use money. Like in Isiolo, they try to use some money to make some goons trying to become rowdy, demand tokenism, so that obviously to cause disruption. But I think we have a duty, because when we are moving around and inspecting these projects and working in sales form, it also helps us to be able to counter some of these insecurities. Those who are the young people who believe in this cause of change and work in the security sector, kindly also ensure that you provide support when it comes to security, and you ensure that if you believe in this cause, because we need the support of each and every one of people who want to have a change and have a better Kenya, where even you who is in this department, you are earning a better salary and you're able to take your children to a good school, where all these politicians have been taking their children and ensuring our lives is so poor and we live in very bad state of life. And I need to call upon each and every one of us to ensure that even those guys who are sending clips trying to threaten morality not to step in their towns. I think some guy was threatening us not to go to Embu. These are guys we need to salimia how, and we keep them checked, because these are people who have ensured this country remain the way it is, whereby our parents had to go and queue in a field ndivyo wapatiwe 2,000 ati ndio basari ya kwenda kulipa university. watoto wengi wana lose dreams. Guys who used to school with in primary school and in university and high schools, una notice never went to college and their dreams never became a reality. So we cannot allow this kind of nonsense to be allowed in this civic education. They don't want them to know the truth, because when they know the truth, they are going to kick them out. So it is our business to tell the truth and to ensure we tell everyone and anybody who come against this journey of telling the truth. By the way, in Kiendi, we were in Kiendi, Kiawara town. There was the politicians had sent some kid truck there to try and disrupt our meeting, and guys charged against that truck mpaka ikaondolewa hapo. We stayed firm because we were trying to disrupt and trying to pretend that wanataka kuipitisha hapo gari ya kuzima moto, yet people in Ndarasha, our children died when that particular lorry had no fuel, but today walikuwa wameweka fuel ati ndivyo kuja disrupt civic education. They need to know that we are not scared. They need to know that Kenyans are tired and we have learned one business. Si walisema kuwa tukienda kwa street watatupiga risasi. Sasa tutakuja kuongelesha watu nyumbani. Kama wanataka kupiga risasi tukiongelesha watu nyumbani, they tell us. They need to know we are ready to face the bullet because we have bought that bullet using our tax money. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Awakili. And I'm just happy that you guys are in the same room and speaking on the same space with different gadgets. Anyway, thank you so much, and have your supper. Ensure you are charging for tomorrow and for the journey that is ahead of us. Yeah. And so I wanted to give it to 6,006. I want to give you 3 minutes, bro. Kindly observe time.
Yeah, so KOT, I hope everybody's okay. It's a nice space. So first of all, I want to tell Morara I like what he does. And in what he does, I just want him to maintain one thing, which is called an independent mind. An independent mind is a mind that can think, can listen to advice, but still think towards the direction that feels is going to be right. And the moment you have that in this movement, there is nothing that will sway you, move you, or scare you. An independent mind is whereby sahi watu wanaweza chochana to the streets, but you know what is good for the movement, and you'll be able to give out your input. So Morara, as you continue to do this, make sure you have an independent mind. The other thing I wanted to answer you and say, when the government fights us with propaganda, we should fight with propaganda. Propaganda wins any war. There is no war that will win without propaganda. And why do I say that? I think I've specialized so much in PR, propaganda, marketing, and all that. Those are some of the things that I do for a living. And my work is to discredit what other brands are doing, just to make sure that whatever is going out there is going to work. So guys, as we fight this war, I just wanted to put in my input and say, we need to come up with the best propaganda that we have. There's something that Morara also asked during the day, and he deleted the tweet about what slogan should he give out to the movement now that Kenya ni Home is being used by another civic education group. And I had said there that if you want to come up with a slogan, you need to demonize your opponent. There's something we do when we are playing football, and one thing tunatoanga watu game nao ni kusema huu jamaa ajui ball. Hata akwe mdeadly aje, by the time ushamwambia ajui ball, inamaanisha morali yake imerudi chini, confidence imeenda chini. So you as the opponent, you have to pick up. So we have to demonize this regime. We have to make everything that is this war. And the moment you fight this, the way he made people believe they are hustlers is the same way we should make these people believe he's now a murderer, because that hustler narrative has stood strong in people's mind. we should make people know that this hustler has been stealing from them. This hustler, his hotel in Langata has been winning tenders ever since they came to the government. They have been winning government tenders, tourism tenders, all of that. We should make these people know that. And when we fight these people, we now have to take the bull by its horns. We don't have to take the bull tukienda kwa kona kona. And you asking something about addressing him. Kindly address him as Zakayo, address him as William Ruto. If it is Murkomen, address him as Murkomen. If it is Opiyo Wandayi, address him as Wandayi. But the moment ukisema yule jama opposition amefanya hii, people don't know. And Nonini said something here. There is one thing that comes with mentioning names. They become, they stick into someone's mind. So you should keep mentioning names alongside all the evil things that are happening. That is one way that we are going to fight these people. Secondly, I see people complain here. That is a government strategy. But it's a high time we also have to employ a similar strategy, but do it better now that we have numbers that can do it voluntarily. That is whereby if the government is paying these bloggers to come and discredit a movement, we can wake up just in the morning and do 3 tweets alone, demonizing this government. If we are almost 100,000 people who are saying that, and we are doing that between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., whatever evil the government has done will be trending at number 1 in the whole country, the same way we used to do hashtags. If Itumbi comes with his own way, we have to fight it with our own way. Similar, just write a tweet and we have to go out there. That is another way that we are going to fight these people. Anyway, tomorrow we have demonstration for university students. If it will happen, personally, I'll be on those streets tomorrow to protest alongside them as a former students leader. And I'll be there, whatever what. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Six. And of course, tomorrow, we the students, I'm a student actually at the Technical University of Mombasa, will be out demonstrating against the new funding model. It's so oppressive and punitive. We want the previous funding model to be used. And so we'll be out tomorrow. I'm sure you are joining us. Escowino, 2 minutes, kindly, bro. Kowino.
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, I can hear you.
First, Morara, I want to thank you for the good job you're doing. You've been doing a fantastic job. Na ukiona unapigwa mawe, jua you're on the right trajectory. So if people have started talking, then just know you are doing a very, very good job. And umewafika kwenye core. Now they don't want you to do what you are doing because you are really exposing what people didn't know, and that is the civic education we are talking about. Thank you again for hosting this space. I think it is good that we have these spaces, we have these conversations, because civic education is very important. Mahali tunaenda, this is a marathon, and we cannot win it kama tumenyamaza. So thank you again. Going forward, I want to take less than 3 minutes because a lot of things that I wanted to say have been said. But I want to tell you people that these conversations about having leaders is very, very important. As much as people want to hide behind it, oh, we don't want leaders, leaderless. The leaderless thing, like I've been saying in the previous spaces, that it already served its purpose and we cannot move like that anymore. We have to have leaders, whether we like it or not. And I like the idea that you brought, Morara, that you should have offices and everything, strategies and all that, because we are in war against people that have financial muscles. They have everything in their disposal. Wako na pesa ya serikali wanaweza tumia kwenda kupiga campaign, and that is what they are doing right now, because they know that the heat has been too much from the younger generation, the Gen Zs and the millennials, and everyone has woken up. People are now aware. People are reading the constitution. People know what is supposed to be done and what's not supposed to be done. So they have started campaigning. They are going everywhere on top of cars. They are using taxpayers' money to do those things. So for us, we also have to do civic education. And I've been talking to people and I've been telling people that it will come to a point that wakienda Mombasa, you go there after them. because our kona pesa, they will go, they distribute money and everything. And we know the population we have in this country. A lot of people are very poor. And so when they are given these small tokens, they fall for it very fast. So if they fall for it, it gets us to a point that we cannot convince these people. So unless we go where these people have gone, it won't make that much impact. But again, we have to go to every part of the country. There has to be funds, because huwezi enda na pesa yako kila siku, it won't be enough. So fundraising and everything, that will be very important going forward. Again, if we are communicating the same message, everyone, please, there is no need to keep fighting or kifungua space that someone else is doing that. This is not a competition. All we want is a better Kenya for everyone else. So if you feel Morara's way of convening his message is not suitable for you, and the enemy is Ruto and his government, please do your own without fighting Morara or sema Morara nafanya nini. Hapana, just do your own. Lastly, political problems can only be solved when we get involved into politics. We cannot lie. We are not just going to do activism alone without getting involved into politics. And I love the fact that people are coming out kusema they want to vie for political seats. Wenye Coyote Zonka amesema naenda kuvai Kimilili 2027. That is fantastic. The next election is going to be a youthful election. It's not going to be about money and everything, campaigns that unaweza splashia your constituents how much money during the campaigns. It's going to be what can you do for your people and what have you done? What have you been doing? So let people come out. If you want to vie, start popularizing yourself with your people. Talk to your people from the villages, your constituencies. Talk to them. Tell them why you are fighting this bad governance. And I've been telling people, we are not fighting the government. We are not fighting Ruto as a person. We are fighting his corrupt government and the bad governance that is subjected Kenyans to. We cannot allow this to go on, and we can only do this when we get involved, we participate in politics. I love the fact that Dan Onyango came here, and he said that they are talking to youth and they want to form a political party. That is the direction we are supposed to be taking. And when these political parties are formed, it's not a must we form like 100 political parties. Morara may form political party yake, Coyote Sonko na party yake. We don't want supremacy battles. If Coyote Sonko forms a party, si hata lazima party kweni yake ati sasa inaitwa party ya Coyote must be the party leader. We want the party primaries to be fair. Party leader hata anaweza delegates has to elect who is a party leader. The fact that you formed a political party doesn't make you an automatic party leader, because that is where the supremacy battles start. Kila mtu anasema hapana, I do not agree with these people because of this and this and this. Now you run away, you go and form your own party. So authenticity has to be very important on that. And we fight this thing as a united cause. So if parties can be formed, it will be good. We get leaders. Mnataka kuvai Kiminini na mtu Coyote, you go for primaries, for nominations. If you are defeated, you support the person that has defeated you, so long as agenda yake na sera zake zile ameuzia wananchi, you keep them accountable and they do that. That is the direction we want to take. We don't want a country where there is ukabila every time and again. We want to be divided on tribal politics. We want to be divided on who is famous. We elect people based on being famous in our regions. And lastly, anytime we are doing this civic education, ask yourself, what type of a leader do you want? Because if we don't know the type of leaders we want, then the change we are fighting for, we are not ready for the change. Ask yourself, what type of a leader do you want? A famous leader or a leader that works for the people? Because we have to elect people who are going to work, not people who are going to sit there and just pocket some big amounts of salaries. They are not doing what helps the people. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much, Kowino, for that submission. And I know time is well spent, but I'm told by KOT that Morara has more than enough data to hold a space until midnight. What I don't know if he has the time, but we'll try as much as possible to push the numbers. Now, let me get to your comments.
No. Mizani.
Yes, brother.
Of course, I have the time.
All right.
I want to listen to Kenyans speak their mind. In fact, if they say we do it till morning, see, these are the same Kenyans who party in clubs till morning. Why can't they hold a space till morning?
I am encouraged that you have time for us. Let me get to your comment section and see what you're saying there. We have Wanjira Gidiomi who says, please ask everyone to retweet this space and encourage people to join in. I don't think we even need to ask, guys. Why don't we just do the necessary? Retweet the space, encourage as many people to come on board. Kabando Wakabando says, excellent effort. Keep eyes on the ultimate goal to fall unjust and gluttonous plutocracy. Bits by bits, the Ruto regime is crumbling. Nas Karen, who says, to give real service, you must add something which cannot be bought or measured with money, and that is sincerity and integrity. Thank you very much, Nas, for that. Fred Maina says, the road you visited in Kieni constituency is actually my home. But that road started in the times of Kibaki, ikawekwa Marami. Hiyo ni time ya Chris Murungaru was the member of parliament. Then came Warugungo and nothing more was done. Then came Kanini Kega. By the way, that road has been launched twice in 2018. And yeah, the story continues, and it's in 2023. Same area has no clean water since 1984. So I know, Morara, you're very huge on relaunch and sub launches. So you need to visit that road and de-launch it. We have Christine Umweru who says, "Who are the contractors? Who are the contractors? Real persons who were paid to do it. Next level exposure is what maybe we should be looking into." We have Professor Kibwana who says, kudos Morara, KOT Mizani for the fantastic work you're doing. You have huge responsibility for the youth and Kenya. The grand takeover requires first crowdsourcing and manifesto on the Kenyans want. This must be radically different from today's bankrupt ideologies. And quite a number of you actually making your contribution. I can't sample all of them, but allow me to take two more. I see Henry Kabogo who says, I support the young people take over of the politics in Kenya. They are right people to protect their future. And last but not least, we say, talk like the president of Kenya mchanganya. Mnachanganya Morara kabisa. He's simply a content creator who has ventured into a niche that other content creators had not yet explored. And so Naibe thinks Morara here is a content creator. But on the other hand, Morara believes we are here to make the Kenya we want because Kenya ni home. Let us know what you think in the comment section as we continue with the conversation. Once again, this space is courtesy of Morara. And Morara, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity not only to ventilate on the issues that we are facing as a country, but also try formulate way forward. I'll go to the ladies who are in the room. I'll start with you, Vivian, followed by Pauline in that order. Vivian, please, the mic is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. My name is Vivian. I'm a musician and more recently a psychologist and author. Firstly, to thank Morara, KOT, and Mizani for having this space. And of course, to encourage my fellow leaders, women to actually speak out. I'll start by saying that we are obviously in a continued era of whistleblowing. So I don't think that should end or slow down in any shape, way, form, or manner. I mean, we've all been abreast of everything that has been happening, one exposure leading to another one and another one. And it's blown all our minds. I think another thing I will mention is I really like Morara's authenticity. And thank you for spreading the energy of courage. I've danced in the public a little bit, si sana kidogo too. So I have a little bit of experience when it comes to criticism. So thank you for not swaying into the hands of critical Kenyans. And of course, mainstream media who will obviously try to push and shove you around. And I must, maybe you've talked about this before, but I'd be interested to know the women who are on your team, not specifically because I have any lobbying that I'm doing, but just because I truly understand the value and depth that women give to spaces like this. Someone mentioned that the Constitution should be translated just like the Bible is translated in mother tongue. And I agree with that, because I feel like, let me give an example of Wavinya's story. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently there's a story going around that she was stranded with 679 million in the UK, but her most recent tweet is her quoting a Bible verse. I mean, I think that's quite disrespectful, and it's diverting what people are talking about, by alluding to her Christian beliefs and just trying to yani kuzima moto. So I think it's important that as much as people have their belief systems, in whether you are Muslim or a Christian, let's stand on business. And right now what we need is accountability and responsibility of our leaders. Morara, I've also had you talking about setting up office. It's a good idea, but it's important to remember that all these things, the bottom line is accountability. And yes, we can have an office where people can come and have a boardroom and sit down and discuss different matters. But at the end of the day, how are we going to ensure that that space maintains its integrity and accountability? Na najua umesema usiulizwe shilingi zote, which is okay, but remember, even people who end up misusing public funds, kuna ile msemo inasemanga chovya humaliza asali, inazanga tu pole, and then it just becomes something that you're accustomed to. So I would want to also emphasize on the importance of, even if it is having an office, ensuring that it remains highly accountable and with high integrity, just so that, the sanctity of that space is maintained. And to just say and chime in why this is personal to me. There's a lady who talked about it, and she's a medic. And I liked the personal part, and I think it's something that all of us must withhold, because when it's personal, then you understand your contribution better. So obviously, being a musician, I've been in that space for about 10 years now. Actively, maybe 8 years. Still, working on that space. But more importantly, what I realize is, even in the music space, we have had countless bodies, like bodies like Mziki and all other, even corporates, trying to infringe on the rights of artists and the music. And I think there has been, earlier this week, my brother Nons, he won a case against an IP case. And I mean, he's gonna get into the details of it. But the reality, why I'm mentioning that, is the reason why a lot of artists have failed in that space is because of limited knowledge. And I talked to Nons about this. So how does this trickle down into this movement of the grand takeover? Is the importance of coming together, unity. Kenya is a very creative country. I mean, one of the reasons even Morara just pulled us all in is just the way he's able to emulate and speak like the president and other people. So we are a very creative country. But even artists and creatives have failed in many ways because of not having a language of unity, and also not having enough knowledge when it comes to what their rights are. I know that many people here are well knowledge and all these things, but it is important to understand that if you don't understand the space, even the constitution to the T, kuna mali utapatikana. So that's also something I wanted to chime in. I have experienced a lot of crazy things as an entertainer and as a musician, spaces where there's a lot of collision, not being able to get along, not understanding our rights, not being able to just come together. And even on this platform, I don't know how many artists or musicians there are, especially those who are highly, people who are known, for lack of a better word, to just help in pushing this agenda. And it becomes more of like that key selfish thing. But I like that this space doesn't hold that. This is a space for every person who's a Kenyan citizen to be able to speak and to give their contribution. So that is mine. Integrity is big for me. So I just hope that we are able to maintain that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vivian. And you know what I love about what you're talking about, which is integrity. There's something that I see on your bio, and I did my quick check. It's a book you've written, which is Take Back Your Power. And like you taking back the power in terms of trying to find the inner peace and going through your journey of recovery to some extent. I'm talking about our personal journeys. We are here trying to take over politics as a country. Is there any power within this take power you can advise us to pick up as a point of reference for us? Just under 1 minute. Vivian.
I would probably say personal responsibility. Each of us must assess our actions on a daily, just to look at who am I, what do I stand for, do my personal belief systems speak into the role I hold as a citizen in terms of making this country better, from small things such as littering to other big things as am I being hateful, am I being self-centered, such things. So, and am I also giving space for anyone, irrespective of gender or irrespective of whatever belief system that they hold, to be able to share and speak up. And I will just say finally, we've seen cases recently. The case against what's her name, Rebecca, who was touched by an ex-partner. And we must ask ourselves, this is a world champion. So we need to ask ourselves, even in terms of our core values as a country, what do we represent? Do we spread messages of hate? And I have no offense to men who say not all men, but do you hold accountable people or men, whoever it is, that runs around in ways that are unjust and even dangerous to other human lives? So that's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. And we appreciate you for stopping by, sharing your comments with us. Morara, who are you? What defines us? All of us who are Moraras on this space tonight. Binti, the mic is yours. Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Morara, KOT, Mizani, and everybody else. I wanted to just point out something. Like as we fight bad governance and take on these endeavors of like civic education, there are efforts that are currently there to speak to people that are in rural areas, like the elderly. We're translating things, which is great, by the way. That's what we need to do. But here in this space, we've been talking a lot about the youth, and I just feel like the general idea we have of the youth is people that, currently like the Gen Z, for example. But I feel like there's a very important group that we're not really not forgetting per se, but I would say perhaps not paying as much special attention to. And I've said this before.
Just a second, Binti, we might be having a connection issue, Morara. Make sure we don't drop off from the space. And if that happens, I will request you restart another space immediately. Binti, I apologize for that interruption. I will now unmute and allow you to proceed. Kindly.
No problem. That's fine. Thank you. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying that there's a group that I feel like we don't pay as much special attention to, and that's like the younger group. Like as of now, 3 years till 2027, we'll have like a whole new generation worth 3 years of kids that will have had the opportunity to turn 18 and be in the process of getting their IDs and their voters card. So my plea is, let's find a way to like hasten that process so that as soon as somebody turns 18, they're able to go and start doing that, because those are many voices. I feel like as we do that as well, we should find a way to educate them, whether we need to dumb down the constitution, not dumb down, but like just simplify it so that they're easy. It's easier for them to understand it, whether we use visual techniques, whatever it is. I feel like we have to pay special attention